Okay, let's start now. All right.
Yes.
I feel like drunk. I don't know why. I didn't drink anything.
The funny thing is, we did not drink before this video.
Yeah, no, we didn't drink, so don't judge. We're just happy people.
Sometimes we'll have one beer before a video.
Yeah.
But today, no beer.
No beer. No, I'm okay actually. But I don't know why I feel drunk anyways.
It's these bright lights.
It's the lights. But I think
You're like
we
a deer in the headlights.
Are you okay with the lights on? Yeah, I think it's okay. Alright, perfect. So let's start. ¿Qué onda amigos? ¿Cómo están? Espero estén súper bien el día de hoy. Hoy me encuentro con un invitado muy especial. Su nombre es Stefan y también él hace videos acerca de su vida aquí en Suecia. Que de hecho los videos que él hace son similares a los míos, pero él los hace en inglés. Así que bueno, yo lo invité porque varios de ustedes me han estado preguntando acerca de cómo ha sido nuestra experiencia hablando sueco y aprendiendo sueco. Así que bueno, él ya lleva aquí 2 años, yo llevo 3 años aquí. Y pues nada, vamos a empezar con este video. Hey Stefan, how are you?
Hey guys, I understood about 3 words of that, but I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on your channel. I think what you said that we both lived in Sweden and today we're going to answer some questions about Sweden.
About Swedish, about the language.
The language.
Exactly.
Oh yes, learning
Almost
languages there. As I'm trying to learn Spanish.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
me listening to that was how I felt with Swedish 2 years ago.
I'm just gonna ask you, how did you come to Sweden or how did you end up here in Sweden? Just for them to know.
Yes.
How did you end up here?
So I was in America. This is a very long story, but I'll give you the short version. I was in America. I really wanted to travel and all these things, and at that time I was dating a Swedish girl. We dated for like 9 months and then she went back to Sweden because she was just an au pair for the year. And then when she went back, like I was finishing up school and everything and I really wanted to travel and find a way to do that. And she said, why don't you look into finding a job in Sweden, then we could still be together and you can experience some of the country and the culture because I know that's something you really want to do. Long story short, I found a job in the town where she was studying and I was like, alright, this is perfect. I can learn about a new culture, learn a new language, experience something new, and I've got a great job. So it was just like everything lined up and it was the perfect combination.
And then you started to kind of like practice a little bit of Swedish with her before coming here.
Definitely. Well, like she would try to teach me like the basics before like I even thought about moving to Sweden, because when we were together it's like if you're dating somebody from another country you want to like learn their language a little bit, like even if it's like really basic stuff. So she taught me like thank you, you're welcome, like how to count to 10, and that was like about it when she was in America.
Okay.
But then when I got offered a job in Sweden and I was like, shoot, I'm actually gonna be moving here, that's when I like downloaded Duolingo and was studying, like trying to learn as many vocabulary words as possible for like probably 3-4 hours a day of just Duolingo.
Oh really?
And that was for like 3 months before I moved here. And then another thing I would do is I would like listen to Swedish vlogs or podcasts while I was running, so I could like see how much I could understand the whole time.
That's good, actually.
When I came to Sweden, I already had like a little bit of an ear for it and like some very basic vocabulary. I couldn't really speak with anybody, but I could pick out a few words here and there, kind of like what my level of Spanish is now. Like I can still pick out like a few words.
Yeah.
I can string together some basic sentences, but it really took a few months before I could like start stringing sentences together and like communicating basic things.
It was the same story. Yeah, I met a Swedish guy and then I mean life happens and then we broke up, but yeah, we're still here. It's like half Spanish, half Swedish. So we end up speaking only in Spanish, and I regret that because I was like, oh come on man, I could actually like learn more Swedish at that time.
Yeah, it's tough when your language isn't on the same level when you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because I had that problem. I wanted to speak Swedish with my ex-girlfriend and we would always fall back on English just because she would always say stuff in Swedish and she would talk really fast and mumble and I wouldn't understand and I'd have to be like, what did you say? Like, what did you say? And she didn't have the patience to like really like slow down or explain or anything. So like nothing against her, but like when you're in a relationship, you just want to be able to communicate. And when one person's language skills are really basic, and it can really slow things down. So it's tough, but I think that if you are able to push through and be with somebody that's going to be patient and work with you and help you in that regard, it can definitely really help you learn fast.
It helps a lot. If you have someone with, like, if you have someone that can help you with the language also.
Yeah.
Cool. When I came to Sweden, the first thing that I did was going to these classes that it was SFI, Swedish for immigrants.
What did you think of that? Because I never did that, but a lot of people ask me what I think of it because they see how I've learned Swedish.
Yeah.
I never did it.
For me, it was quite helpful. A lot, because actually I was studying there full time, so it was like 6 hours every day. I was comfortable about like in 4 months or something like that. I was pretty okay actually.
Nice.
It went so fast for me, so that was perfect.
That's really good.
Yeah. Okay, like how much like percentage do you think you can speak now?
I would say, well, I can say anything I want to say. It might not be like fancy words, like I would be terrible if I would be like a Swedish writer. Right. Because I have like the vocabulary of like an 11-year-old. I use like very simple words. It's kind of like Donald Trump speak.
Oh my god.
Versus Obama. Like Obama was very like literate, intelligent, using very fancy words to describe everything. My Swedish is like Trump Swedish.
Like some Swedish.
Very basic short words, but
very
like people
basic.
Understand it. That's my level of Swedish.
I prefer to write more actually in Swedish. I cannot speak that fluent. Not yet.
Like writing like by hand or like in a something with autocorrect?
No, like just by hand. I think
really?
like, yeah, for me, I don't know, it has been like that, like more easier now.
Because for me, I cannot spell anything in Swedish. I don't have autocorrect on my phone.
Then you can't.
Like a lot of times, like even when I try to write a word, like it'll suggest a different word because my spelling's so bad that it doesn't know what I'm trying to say.
Do you remember the first word that you learned?
The one that stands out to me the most is "You're welcome."
Alright.
Because it's like varsågod in Swedish, but there's a town like really close to my town called Washugal. So that's the word that like sticks out to me. And I remember the number 7. Who was very hard for me to pronounce.
That's really hard to pronounce.
So
I think for everybody actually. If you're not from Sweden, that's really hard to pronounce.
I feel like I can do it now, but if you look back at like videos where I try to pronounce those sounds, like in the early days, it was definitely very difficult.
Yeah, that's pretty hard actually. For me, the first word, it was fun.
Fun,
because they're always saying like fun.
So like, your first Swedish word is a swear word.
Of course, but I think for me it happens, you know, in every language. I don't know why, but it's always like the bad words first. Yeah, it goes first the bad words and then the rest.
Start with the bad ones.
Exactly, yeah. For example, what has been like the tricks that you can recommend while learning a new language?
I would say just use it as much as possible, and that's the main thing. A lot of people struggle to learn Swedish because everybody's English is so good in Sweden. And like I was saying, like in my relationship, we would fall back to English. And when you work with adults that are fluent in English, and they see you stumbling along with very bad Swedish, a lot of times they'll just switch to English to make it easier. And I think that's why so many people have a hard time learning Swedish, even though it might not be actually that hard if you would push yourself and force yourself to learn it. So just doing that, creating those challenges for yourself and like really sticking with it. And I think the biggest thing that helped me was working in schools. You're around kids that aren't comfortable with English as much as like adults. So that forced me to speak Swedish at work, and it really pushed me. And had I not had those experiences working in schools for the first year that I was in Sweden, there's no chance that my Swedish would be as good as it is now.
And also because you know that Swedish, you cannot use Swedish anywhere else. There are not like a lot of countries that use Swedish. And also here, everybody speaks perfect English. So then it's, again, really hard to just focus on one language, actually here.
Definitely. I think if you're living in a country, wherever you are, I think it's really important that you learn the language that you're in the country that you're living in, because I don't think you're ever going to feel like you're 100% part of the society unless you can speak the language and understand what's going on around you. I think if somebody comes to this country and they want to become a citizen of this country, I think it's important that they've shown that they've made the effort and that it's important for them to learn the language and become a real part of the society.
Yeah, that's true.
Quiero practicar.
¿Tú quieres practicar español?
Pronto.
Su español está bien, pero todavía le falta un poquito más. Pongan aquí abajo también si quieren que le enseñe unas palabras también en español, ¿va? Para que se sienta cómodo, ¿vale?
Vale.
Pero sí, amigos, nos vemos en el siguiente video. Espero les haya gustado y ya saben, pongan aquí abajo todo lo que quieran saber más acerca de Suecia, más acerca del idioma también, que me han estado preguntando bastante. Así que bueno, aquí les voy a poner el canal de Stefan y pues nada, nos vemos en el siguiente video. Se cuidan, chicos. Bye bye. See you in the next video. Adiós. Bye.